Welcome back. I hope you had a good sit and good to good to see everybody. There are 39 of us signed in, and there's a two, and there's a two, and there's a two. So nice to be able to relax and be together. And I really hope everyone is doing well. Tonight, I want to reflect on something beautiful that is happening in our country right now. A 2,300-mile Buddhist pilgrimage called the Walk for Peace. If you know what Walk for Peace is, give me a smile. Oh, got some thumbs up too. 19 monks from Hung Dao Vipassana Bhavana Center, which is a Vietnamese Buddhist monastery in Fort Worth, began walking there in Fort Worth in October of 2025 and are making their way step by step toward Washington, D.C. Under the guidance of their spiritual leader, Bhikkhu Panakara, the monks follow a disciplined schedule of dawn meditation. They walk around 20 miles each day, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on weather and especially on where they're going to stay the night. And they engage with locals in towns and cities along the way, from small stores to state capitals. They reached Richmond Monday, and today they were scheduled to walk from Randolph-Macon College in Ashland, Virginia, and head toward Ruther Glen along Highway 1. I'm not sure where Ruther Glen is, but that's where they are. They're expected to arrive in Washington, D.C. on or around February 10th, where they're to be greeted at the National Cathedral for a gathering outside on the West Lawn centered on peace, gratitude, and hope. They walk through heat and cold, cities and rural highways, snow, sleet, sunshine. They walk mostly in silence. They accept food and shelter when it's offered. They bless people who come to them. Their aim is not political protest, but rather to inspire reflection on peace and compassion in everyday life. They do not argue. They do not preach. They walk. Did anybody see them when they came through Charlotte? Yeah, wonderful. I see smiles as you think about that. Wherever they go, people gather. Some cry. Some stand quietly. Some bring flowers, oranges, water. Some come skeptical and leave moved. Many describe the experience as healing, even if they can't explain why. There have been some who've held up signs purporting religious differences, but they have been few and far between. A beloved rescue dog named Aloka walks with them, and he has captured the hearts of children and adults alike, becoming a symbol of gentleness and innocence on the path. Bhikkhu Panakara first met Aloka during an earlier peace walk in India. I didn't know about this till I looked this up. Long before the current walk for peace across the United States, he walked a 112-day peace pilgrimage with monks across India in 2022. And as they were walking, a stray Indian pariah dog began following them. The dog stayed with them through much of that journey, even after being hit by a car and falling seriously ill. Bhikkhu Panakara cared for him until he recovered, and because of that bond, Aloka was adopted. And he was brought back with them, and now he's walking with the group in the U.S. pilgrimage. And if you haven't seen, please Google Aloka the Peace Dog and get a look at him. He didn't win at Westminster last night, but he's a beautiful dog. And somehow or another, he just seems to radiate peace. As they've walked these past 102 days, Bhikkhu Panikkara's message to groups large and small has been simple. Don't waste this breath. Peace begins with you. Each step is a prayer for unity. To some, this may be looked at as a story about monks, about a pilgrimage, about something happening out there. But tonight I want to suggest something deeper. I want us to look at this walk not only as something happening across America, but as a living metaphor for our own walk of mindfulness. First, regardless of the length, a journey is made one step at a time. A 2,300-mile journey sounds overwhelming, and if you look at the whole distance, the mind might say impossible. But the monks are not walking 2,300 miles. They are walking one step, and then another, one step at a time. A book is written one page at a time. A house is built one board at a time. A recipe is turned into a dish, one ingredient at a time. A song is written one note at a time. Mindfulness is like this. We practice this breath. We meet this moment. We take this step. When the Buddha taught the path, he did not say, perfect yourself instantly. He pointed to a gradual training, bhavana cultivation, one moment of awareness at a time. Suffering often comes from trying to live the entire journey in our head. But peace comes from returning to this step. So the monks teach by the steps they take. Their feet say what their mouths do not. Just take the next step with awareness. And this is certainly a part of mindfulness. Second, a long path can be made up of simple practices. The monk's journey is long, months long, and yet the method is simple. Walk, breathe, be present. Our spiritual path is the same. The mind wants complexity. It wants dramatic transformation, peak experiences, enlightenment fireworks. But the actual practice of mindfulness is humble. Notice the breath. Notice the body. Notice the heart. Begin again. The Noble Eightfold Path is profound, but it's also very practical. Right view, wisdom in this moment. Right speech in this conversation. Right effort in this difficulty. Thousands of simple steps become a pilgrimage. Thousands of mindful moments become a life with less suffering and more peace. 3, there's weather on the road, and there is weather in the mind. The monks, especially lately, have faced winter storms, icy roads, cancellations, and physical hardships. Some days are smooth, some days are hard. We see what's happening when they're walking on the trail, but we don't see the bruises and blisters. We don't see the medical care and the exhausting feelings they may be experiencing in the quiet moments. 20 miles after 20 miles after 20 miles. Our inner walk is no different. We experience emotional weather and pains of mind and heart. Anxiety, grief, restlessness, irritation, fear, But mindfulness is not about controlling the circumstances. It is learning how to be mindful in all circumstances. In one of his talks on Dawalt, Bhikkhu Panikara said, "How can I stay peaceful when difficult situations arise? We must begin by understanding where we are. Situations happen often without warning, often beyond our control. We cannot always prevent or change them, but here's what we can control: the way we respond." When sleep falls on the monks, they do not shout at the sky. They adjust, they slow down, they remain steady. When anger or sadness arises in us, the practice is the same. It's not about what comes, it's about how we respond. Can we walk through our storms without becoming the storm? That's one of the challenges of mindfulness. Another thing, silence reveals the mind. The monks walk mostly in silence. And silence is not empty. Silence is revealing. When we become quiet, we begin to hear the mind more clearly. The worries, the replayed conversations, the judgments, the hopes. Some people avoid silence because it shows them what is already inside. For some people, the idea of silence, even for 5 minutes, is almost overwhelming. MIT professor Sherry Turkle wrote, "The smartphone is the modern hearth, but instead of gathering around it for warmth, we use it to burn away the minutes we are too afraid to spend with our own thoughts." Let's hear that again. Instead of gathering around for warmth, we use it to burn away the minutes we are too afraid to spend with our own thoughts. But the monks demonstrate something important. Silence is not the enemy. Silence is the teacher. Thich Nhat Hanh said that when we stop, we see. When we see, we understand. When we understand, compassion arises. The walk invites silence. Mindfulness invites the same. Another parallel, it's not about the destination. Yes, the monks are heading to Washington, D.C., but listen to Bhikkhu Panikara's teaching. We walk not to reach a destination, but to heal the world. The destination is symbolic. The real practice is the way they walk. Likewise, mindfulness is not always about arriving somewhere. It's not always about arriving at enlightenment like a spiritual finish line. It's about how you walk through life. How you speak, how you listen, how you respond, how you love. If you reach a destination but walk in anger and frustration, have you found peace? But if you walk each step with awareness and compassion, you're already home. Early books by Thich Nhat Hanh like Peace is Every Step and Peace is Every Breath point to this. And mindfulness as a journey is also a metaphor used by Bhante Gunaratana, the abbot of the Bhavana Society in West Virginia. He uses it in his book, 8 Mindful Steps to Happiness. Another parallel, it's not about who is right and who is wrong. Along the way, the monks do not debate. They do not try to convert anyone. They do not enter political disputes. If criticized, they say, may they be well. May they be peaceful. This is radical in our time. We live in a culture of argument, convincing, defending positions, of divisions, of taking sides. But the monks offer presence instead of persuasion. Mindfulness works the same way internally. You do not argue with your thoughts. You do not scold your feelings. You instead offer them awareness. In his book, Relax and Be Aware, which I'll be talking about during the announcements, Sayadaw Tejaniya writes, meditation is accepting whatever arises, pleasant or unpleasant, good or bad, and observing it in a relaxed way. And something softens. Compassion transforms more than force ever can. Especially self-compassion as we learn to see things as they are without judgment or blame of others, or especially without judgment or blame of ourselves. Another parallel. Peace begins in the mind. Bhikkhu Panakara avoids politics not out of indifference, but out of clarity. He speaks of suffering in the world, but he points to its roots inside the human heart. Because wars begin in minds. Violence begins in anger. Division begins in fear. If we want peace outside, we must cultivate peace inside. And this is not naive, this is deeply practical. Every time we choose patience over reactivity, we reduce the potential for suffering and increase the opportunity to find peace. In one of his Dharma talks, the bhikkhu said, when difficulty arises, our minds rush forward, overthinking, catastrophizing, creating stories about how terrible things are. We make situations heavier by adding layers of worry and fear on top of what is already challenging. But if we pause, if we become mindful of our breath in that moment, if we notice our thoughts without getting swept away, something shifts. The situation doesn't disappear, but we stop making it worse. We create space for clarity. Every time we meet fear with mindfulness, we reduce being swept away by collective fear. We're not separate from the world, we are expressions of it. And then two more. Presence can bring transformation. For many people, the monks seem to be a bridge to something they desire inside. Some people cry when they see the monks. Others find their presence transformative. One person in Virginia wrote on social media, they walked for peace, not from Virginia, North Carolina. They walked for peace through my town of Pittsboro, North Carolina, and walked right into my heart. My own practice of mindfulness and quietude has grown as a result, and I gained a whole new positive community to share this beautiful way with. The monks are not performing miracles. They're not entertaining. They are present. And to many in our society these days, presence is rare. When someone is truly present, we feel seen, we feel safe, we feel human again. Mindfulness can make you that presence for others. Your calm nervous system calms somebody else. Your compassion gives permission for theirs. The monks transform communities through presence. You may possibly transform someone the same way through your mindful presence. And then the last one, every person is on a walk. Whether we know it or not, each of us is already walking a path. The question is not, are we walking? The question is, how are we walking? Are we rushing unconsciously? Are we carrying old resentment mile after mile? Are we telling ourselves the same stories, maybe even living the same days over and over and over? Are we lost in thought or busy on our phone while life passes by? Or are we here, breathing, noticing, softening, beginning again. The monks make the invisible visible. They show us what a conscious walk looks like. Even covering about 20 miles a day, they still make time to speak to someone, give someone a smile, or tie a ribbon around someone's wrist. One thing he said over and over, Bhikkhu Panikara says, don't waste this breath. That may be the whole teaching. We do not know how many breaths remain, but we know this one is here. So perhaps the Walk for Peace invites us into a simple experiment. Walk life the way the monks walk the road, one step at a time, in all weather, without argument, with compassion, not rushing to arrive, offering peace rather than demanding it. The 2,300-mile walk continues, at least for a few more days. But the monks' pursuit of peace will continue long after that. And as we walk in mindfulness, our pursuit continues too, breath by breath, step by step, moment by moment.